The Nokia Lumia 710 is Nokia's second Windows Phone 7 offering. Introduced alongside the Nokia Lumia 800, which we had previously reviewed at GottaBeMobile.com, the Lumia 710 represents Nokia's mid-range offering and is the lesser expensive of the two models. I'm Chang Wen for GottaBeMobile and Notebooks.com. Please join me in this video review of the T-Mobile USA variant of the Lumia 710, which is marketed as the carrier's 4G HSPA Plus Windows Phone 7 Mango version. So before we take a look at the Nokia Lumia 710, let's go ahead and take a look at the retail packaging box for T-Mobile USA. Here in front of me I have this box that the phone will ship in. And it's a longer box than most phones. Once you lift open the box opens up in two halves. You do have this tray where the Lumia 710 will sit upon when the device ships. Once you lift up the tray, you'll find inside the top portion of the tray, you'll find that there's a micro SIM card for T-Mobile USA's AWS 4G HSPA Plus network, a getting started guide which is available in color and will help you get acquainted with your device quickly. There's also a recycling sticker which you can affix to any box or envelope and send your old phone in for recycling and keep harmful chemicals out of the waste. A product safety and information guide along with the terms, conditions, and return policy are also included. Just underneath the top tray, you do have a bare minimum of accessories. Here we have the US wall charger, which is a USB wall charger, in which you can connect your device to the USB wall charger with the included USB to micro USB charge and sync cable. You can also use this cable to connect the Lumia 710 to your computer to charge and sync your phone that way as well. On the computer, you'll need to download the Microsoft Zune desktop software, which will allow you to sync content onto your phone, including music, videos, pictures, and other content. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the hardware features of the Nokia Lumia 710 for T-Mobile's network. On the front of the device, you do have a 3.7-inch LCD touchscreen, comparing that to the Nokia Lumia 800, which has a domed, curved Gorilla Glass AMOLED-based touchscreen panel, which uses a Pentel subpixel arrangement and Nokia's clear black display. The Lumia 710's touchscreen is a little bit more pedestrian. It actually is a flat surface and isn't a dome surface, unlike the Lumia 800, and uses an LCD technology rather than AMOLED. However, Nokia did employ the clear black display technology on the 710, so you do have that deep dark blacks and the rich and vibrant colors as well on this LCD touchscreen. Both the 800 and the 710 have a resolution of WVGA, or 480 pixels wide by 800 pixels long. So the resolutions are the same, it's just that this touchscreen is LCD versus AMOLED, and unlike the Gorilla Glass on the Lumia 800, you do have a plastic cover here, or plastic panel on the Lumia 710 to help keep costs down. At the top of the touchscreen, you do see this little hole or portal. Unfortunately, that's not a front-facing camera and is either the ambient light sensor, which helps to automatically dim or brighten the screen depending on the ambient lighting conditions around you. It's either that or the proximity sensor. In the middle, you do have the earpiece speaker, and then you have the Nokia logo here in the top center. Towards the bottom of the device, you do have three physical hardware buttons. These are hardware buttons unlike the capacitive touch buttons for Windows Phone navigation on the Lumia 800. So here you do have the back button, the Home or Windows button, along with the search button. When I first got the device about a week ago, the middle home button was a little bit harder to depress, but after using it in about a week's time, all three buttons were equally responsive and were easy to access and aren't as stiff anymore. At the bottom, you do have the T-Mobile logo, and then you do have a microphone port here towards the bottom edge. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top of the device. At the top, you do have the exposed micro USB charge and sync port. You do have a 3.5mm headphone jack in the center, and towards the right hand side you do have the power button, which toggles the screen on and off. On the right hand spine, there are the volumes up and down button along with the dual stage camera shutter button. What's interesting is that the dual stage actually isn't quite as apparent as that on the Nokia Lumia 800. You actually just have to press in very lightly to get the camera to focus, and then press in harder to get the camera to actually activate the shutter and capture your image. Even when the screen is off, or from any touch screen, if you press down and hold the camera button for a few seconds, it will activate the camera mode. If you just lightly tap in, you can get the phone to focus, and then if you press in harder, you can get the camera to snap your picture. We're going to go ahead and go into deeper details with the camera in just a second. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back side of the phone, which is encased in this plastic, but it has a soft touch rubberized material, which makes the phone easier to hold and is more comfortable and ergonomic. At the top center, you do have a 5-megapixel camera that can record videos in 720p HD resolution. There's also an LED flash along with a secondary noise cancellation microphone. Towards the middle here, the middle top, you do have the Nokia logo again embossed on the back side. On the bottom, you have the loudspeaker for speakerphone calls, and then on the left-hand spine of the phone, you do have this little notch here where you can go ahead and pry open to remove the back battery cover. Once you expose the back battery cover, you can go ahead and remove this battery, which is a 1300 milliamp hour battery, and that will give you access to the micro SIM card, which is a little bit hard to get out. But you do need to remove the battery to have access to that card. The phone itself actually performs pretty well, and the battery life is actually pretty long. You can go for a day or a day and a half without charging with a 1300 milliamp hour battery. So Nokia actually did some great optimizations on the Lumia 710. From a design perspective, the Nokia Lumia 710 may not be as elegant as the Nokia Lumia 800, which is a higher end smartphone with a lot of more subtle design elements that make it a little bit more polished, including a dome glass touchscreen, curved backside, and tapered ends. But the Lumia 710 does offer a lot of ergonomics and makes it a very practical, functional, and utilitarian smartphone for everyday usage. Users will benefit from this nice curved back surface along with the soft touch rubberized material, which helps the phone be comfortable or fit comfortably in your palm when you're using it for extended periods of time. Also, you can rest your thumb here on the top portion of the side edge, which is a little bit more angled, so you can rest it here comfortably if you're holding your phone in your left hand, or even if you're holding it in your right hand. It gives you a place to rest your thumb. From a design perspective, both the top side edges that are angled and the angled top and bottom portion of the Lumia 710 will hark back to some of the design aesthetics of the Symbian-powered Nokia Astound, which was released on T-Mobile USA's network about a year ago. So here on the Astound, you do have the same kind of bevel top edge surface on both the right and left hand side. You have this dramatically angled top and bottom portion, and then a slighter curve to the back side, which is more pronounced on the Lumia 710 and gives it a more modern and robust feel. When you're comparing both devices, the Lumia 710 is a little bit wider and a little bit, it's about the same height, but it's a little bit wider and a little bit thicker than the Nokia Astound. In my opinion, even though both devices offer a more entry-level smartphone experience, the Symbian-powered Astound here does offer a better fit and finish to the phone. It's a little bit more solid. You do have more glass element on the touchscreen and then metal elements elsewhere. Additionally, on the Astound, you have an 8 megapixel camera. Unfortunately, it's a fixed focus lens, and you do have here a dual LED flash, so you don't have an autofocus, but you do have a fixed focus lens there. On the 710, you have a 5 megapixel camera and single LED flash. So those are some of the subtle differences on the hardware between the Astound and the Windows Phone 7 Lumia 710 that succeeds the Symbian model. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the software that Nokia and T-Mobile have bundled together on the Lumia 710. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the software that comes preloaded on the Nokia Lumia 710. The Lumia 710 utilizes the Mango build of Microsoft's Windows Phone 7 operating system, like the Lumia 800. As far as carrier preloaded software, since this is a T-Mobile unit, you will find some carrier branded as well as manufacturer branded preloaded software title. The preloaded content is actually kept to a minimum, and of the preloaded content, many of them will be useful to a lot of new smartphone users who may not have otherwise found some of the content immediately. From the carrier side, you do have a T-Mobile My Account app or hub here, which will give you access to your voice and data minutes and your carrier cell phone plan. There's also T-Mobile TV, which will give you access to live and on-demand streaming TV content, so you can watch it on the go with your Lumia 710 on your Nokia or on your T-Mobile 4G HSPA Plus connection. Other content that's been preloaded from the carrier side includes Slacker Radio, which will give you access to internet radio. There's also Telenav GPS, which will give you turn-by-turn voice-guided GPS navigation. Telenav, however, requires you to be connected to an internet connection. So if you're worried about your data plan usage, or if you're using your phone in an area without internet connection, you probably won't have access to GPS through Telenav service. There's also a Netflix app, which does require a subscription to Netflix, and that will give you access to streaming movies and TV shows. From the manufacturer side, or from the Nokia side, you do have a few preloaded apps. Most notably, you do have Nokia Drive, which will give you both online and offline voice-guided turn-by-turn GPS instructions. So this app, you can go ahead and use it in an area with or without internet connection. If you intend on using it in more remote areas where you don't get T-Mobile service, you can go ahead and download or pre-download the maps and store it on your device ahead of time. If you want to conserve the 8 gigabytes of onboard storage, then you can go ahead and download the maps as you go. Here the maps are dynamically downloaded. I haven't downloaded any maps so far. But as we scroll around, you can see that T-Mobile we're connected to the T-Mobile internet, which should download more streets as we go along. There's also the ESPN hub, which employs the Windows Phone 7 panoramic screens. You'll see that in just a minute. This will allow you to follow some of your favorite sports team, catch up on the latest sports news, and the panoramic screen here gives you a glimpse of that there is additional content for you to swipe on. If you look on the right edge of the screen, you can see a little bit of what's going on there, and if you swipe over, you'll see what's going on in successive panels to the right. Nokia also promised its own internet radio app called Nokia Music. That app is nowhere to be found on this device and isn't yet available on Windows Phone Marketplace at this time, probably due to the rights being negotiated for streaming music in the US. Nokia Music will allow users to access internet radio, have curated stations, and also to download some of that music content to take with them. in areas where they don't have internet connection, or if they don't want to use up their data plan allocation, so that way you can have music whenever you go. On the device, since this is a Windows Phone device, you do have access to Microsoft's subscription-based Zune content, so you do have Zune. And what's nice about these hubs is that not only will it aggregate just your Zune content here, but it will scan what apps you have downloaded on the phone and aggregate it into the music and video hub. So third-party Slacker radio app is here, and once Nokia Music is available, it will probably be in the music and videos hub. Marketplace for mobile is a great place to find additional apps and content. You can also find music and videos as well here, along with podcasts and games. So this is the official Microsoft software or application store for Windows Phone. If you're unsure of what apps to download on your device, you can go ahead and go into App Highlights, which is a Nokia app that's been preloaded. App Highlights will show you some of the top picks. This is Weber's picks, or Chris Weber's picks, who's the head of Nokia USA, so you can see what Chris Weber has on his smartphone, if you please. There's a starter kit, which will give you some app suggestions to have on your phone when you're just starting out, and then just additional content that you may want to download on your phone. If you swipe the home screen over to the right, you'll see an alphabetical list of apps here. So all your apps will be displayed here, and then you can pin your favorite apps or hubs to your home screen. These are tiles, and then you do have little hubs here. So for instance, all your music will be in, or all your music and video, as we have seen, will be in the music and video hub. All your games will be in the Xbox Live hub. So they won't be, you won't see a separate Angry Birds icon or listing on your app menu, but you'll see it in your Xbox Live hub, for instance. Let's go ahead and take a look at the camera. The camera itself is a 5 megapixel camera, and it does offer autofocus on the Windows Phone 7 platform. It's just a standard software that Microsoft employed, and isn't any special Nokia customization. There's a dual stage hardware camera shutter button, or you can use tap to focus to tap and focus and then capture the picture all in one tap. What I noticed on this phone compared to the Lumia 800 is that you can actually get in a lot closer. You can actually have the camera closer to the subject that you're trying to take a picture of, and it will still turn out to be clear. On the Lumia 800, you do have to be a bit further away from your subject to have focus. So it's a nice thing about the Lumia 710 is that you can actually be closer, or have your camera closer to the subject and have a clean, crisp image. Images were a little bit on the yellow or warm side on the Lumia 710, as opposed to having a slight green tint on the Lumia 800's camera, and that might be due to the software, and you can always correct for that in a photo editing software. So here I was pretty close to the subject, and you can see that the picture turned out rather clear still. And it's multi-touch, so you can pinch to zoom as well. So this is a quick look at some of the software and hardware of the Lumia 710. Let's go ahead and wrap up the video and see how the Lumia 710 stacks up to other smartphones in its class. Expected as a mid-range or entry-level Windows Phone 7 smartphone on T-Mobile USA's network, the Nokia Lumia 710 will cost $50 with a 2-year contract on the carrier's 4G HSPA Plus network. The Lumia 710 is capable of 4G download speeds of up to 14.4 megabits per second theoretical speeds on HSPA Plus. In real-world testing in the San Francisco Bay Area, I find that the download speeds were closer to in the area of 3 to 6 megabits per second. The Lumia 710 does occupy an interesting position in Nokia's product portfolio. While it's being marketed as an entry-level or mid-range offering, the Lumia 710 does best its bigger brother, the Lumia 800, which you can also find a video here that we've done to review the higher-end offering on YouTube. In terms of specs, the Lumia 710 and the Lumia 800 share the same 1.4 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon single-core processor. The Lumia 710 does have 8 GB of onboard storage, whereas the Lumia 800 has 16 GB. Both devices, thanks to the integration with Microsoft's SkyDrive cloud storage system, will have an additional 25 GB of internet cloud-based storage for users to access. The Lumia 710 does best its bigger brother, the Lumia 800, in a number of key areas where the Lumia 710 appeared to trail the 800, at least on paper. First, in terms of the touchscreen, the Lumia 710's LCD-based technology allows the screen to render pictures, text, and videos a little bit more crisp because it doesn't use the AMOLED Pentel-based subpixel arrangement that the 800 has. The only downfall to the Lumia 710's touchscreen is that it's a flat touchscreen rather than the more elegant curved or dome-shaped touchscreen that's employed on the 800. That said, the flat surface will make it less prone to scratches, and the only downfall to the Lumia 710's touchscreen is that it's made out of plastic rather than glass. In terms of construction, the Lumia 710 doesn't offer the same sleek, modern, and minimalist unibody polycarbonate construction that the Lumia 800 has. However, the 710 does offer better ergonomics and is less prone to slipping out of your hands because it has a soft touch rubberized coating that will allow users to better grip the device. So you'll see the phone, you'll be less likely see the phone slipping out of your hands in daily use. When talking about the camera, both cameras offer 720p HD video recording. However, the digital still camera on the Lumia 710 is capped at 5 megapixels compared to the 8 megapixel on the Lumia 800. In real-world usage, the 5 megapixel camera does outperform the 800 in a number of factors. For users who like to take macro pictures, the Lumia 710 does allow you to get closer to your subject to take a crisper photo. In terms of overall focus, the Lumia 710 does allow users to focus better on their subjects, whether up close or from far away, so you do have a better likelihood of capturing a crisper shot on the Lumia 710 versus on the 800, where sometimes I have to take multiple shots to determine which one is crisper in terms of the focus. Both cameras offer dual-stage shutter buttons along with the ability to tap and focus and also capture your picture all in one touchscreen tap. The Lumia 710 offers a lot of bang for your buck and is one of our favorite smartphone picks for a mid-range or entry-level smartphone here at Gotta Be Mobile. For a more detailed look at the Lumia 710, please visit us at gottabemobile.com for a complete review of the Lumia 710. I'm Chung Nguyen for Gotta Be Mobile and Notebooks.com. Thanks for joining us in this review of the Lumia 710.